because the mobility would help from getting away from the getting linked by the doll of the Melissa. I mean, most likely they're still going to end up with either, I don't know, maybe like still a Moskov, but no, they still go Claude, and they played with like one of the safest gold laners.
I'm going to be honest, Vitality, yes, they have a lot of defense against the Fanny, but not a lot of answers against the Fanny. You have the go away, which can stop you from getting dived on. Yes, you have the fist crack, some of those things from the Badong. You have the arrow, but outside of that, you have no hard crowd control for this Fanny, and it could be a problem.
Well, the lineups are locked. Coach Moody and Coach K-Dot getting their teams, Falcons, PH, and Vitality, ready to go. And this one, well, looks like fireworks are set to go off here at MSC EWC 2026. Our third series of the day is about to begin, and this is going to be a banger. Team Vitality and Team Falcons, PH. Let's send it over to your casters to begin game one. It's Brigitte and Gideon.
Thanks, Rain Day. This is an exciting day to be alive. We get to watch some of the best regions play it out here on our third series of the day of MSC. And for starters, we're already getting the classic Selena from the Maestro himself, but I don't think Haji is going to fall too far behind.
Yep, the mid lane matchup is something we're all watching out for, but just the same, I am so excited to see Kyle back on a Fanny all over again. He made a name for himself because of these kinds of heroes, and now Vitality will have to deal with this. And again, Trex did point out most of their crowd control and potential lockdowns are just going to be on Finn.
Yeah, it really is going to be. And I think the important thing right now is whether or not those arrows not only are going to hit, but how you set them up. Because I think that Finn has such a difficult job, right? Not only is he looking for these big engages, he has to play off of the information from Nile and Shogun. But the hard part is catching this Fanny half the time.
Yeah, because like you're torn between catching the Fanny or also going for a backline play, because we see Badangs do that oftentimes, but that's more so when you get to the late game. It's depending on we get there, because I feel like both teams just really want to get that early and end this fast.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget about the potential anti-synergy, right? There could be moments where Finn oh, hold on, Flap might be in some trouble here.
Oh no, Finn actually catches Kyle there. Though that is one answer to the question that we posed earlier. So as long as he just gets to press the buttons in the right time.
But this comes at a cost, right? Because Moreno has to be preemptively already waiting with Finn to make these motions happen, allowing the mid lane to actually get shoved in pretty quickly. Now, I mean, Moreno, he doesn't care about level 4. Level 4 or not, it's not the biggest deal in the world. He hits that arrow, it's kind of game over for whoever. But even Iman recognizes that you got to be scared of Kyle. You take a bad trade, you could just die out of nowhere.
Yeah, Vitality are so good with these anticipations against Team Falcons and their rotations, and so far they're the ones actually going to take this turtle for themselves. We saw multiple rotations from Falcons already, but every single one of them have been answered so far.
They have been, and I think the best part about it all is the fact that Vitality are playing super responsive to how Falcons are moving across the map. As soon as Kyle showed up bot side, they set up for the instant turtle take. They cannot waste any little bit of time here. They also have to be, you know, just as careful to not put themselves in compromised positions. Top side, you really see that Shogun try to cut the wave. Notices Fanny is around, backs up to try and set up for Nile right here, because he's just too thick.
The moment Nile showed up, Falcons could just not commit anymore. Every single time, it seems like Vitality are just always prepared. They're not in any way taken by surprise by the presence of a Fanny, and it's something that they probably willingly played into, but that's going to be a setup onto Finn. Now they're trying to go for the burst. He gets caught once again, though. Kyle will make it out alive, but does Finn, though? He does not. Flap takes first blood.
He could have lived that. He couldn't live that. He wasn't 100% sure about the timing, about when Dairoth's ult actually finishes the channel. Yes, there's a bit of a channel time. He could have just pushed himself out of there, but wanted, hey, no abilities, I gotta just try and punt somebody backwards as best as he can. This is what we should expect, right? Falcons need to win this early stage of the game to get Kyle that advantage that we're hoping for, and it's not like the Ling. He's very dependent on that purple buff and can only do so much. It's not like you can just go back into your jungle and charge it all back up and you know, farm extra fast. It's all about, hey, I go in, if I don't have that purple buff, I have to recall, do it all over again.
Yeah, it's great adjustment too, I think, because they could not find the sides. They've been trying to, but they couldn't really get the sides. It's always been either Finn intercepting or even Moreno and Nile, so they just settled with Finn, who at the time was isolated from the rest, just trying to check wherever Falcons were trying to go for next, and I think it's a great answer. They finally found a way to at least get a slight advantage, though the gold lead is very insignificant at this point, honestly.
And honestly, a really difficult comp to pull off. I mean, I'm thinking about how Moreno needs to kind of keep up with everybody else, but wait, hold on first. Flap, he's already going to get chunked down to 50%. Now, Falcons, this might be a harder contest. They do have a bit of a regenerate for Flap, so he's going to top himself back up here, but I think the real question is whether or not he gets caught when he tries to shred down that front line, right? Whether it's front line or back line, that shred is only good for Kyle and Super Marco.
Whoa, Finn, are they actually going to go for open? The Wrath of the Giant as a response though, but they catch 2, and now Nile is going to go down alongside Finn. Falcons actually take 2 and will win that trade instead, despite Vitality being the first ones to set it up.
And look at Owen, he's just blocking the shots. He's making sure that the softer members on his side don't have to worry about some tough angles that are being set up by Moreno. Is this a potential punish? No, he should be able to get out.
Oh, Blazing Duet used 2, but even so, Moreno gets to dash away to safety. Shogun will try to block the rest of the members of Falcons, but they're not going to force it anymore. Still, though, it's a 3-0 lead already in their hands. Oh.
Maybe a 3-0 lead with 1.4k, but we're not seeing structural damage. We haven't seen... Oh, speaking of structural damage, Flap, first person there to actually open up, and surprisingly enough, he's the one who actually unlocks his lane first, which is great for him. But what does that mean for the rest of Falcons? Does that mean that he gets to walk around for free? I want to see how they utilize his Dara, because we didn't get to see a great showing the day before.
Yes, I agree. It was on a not-so-okay KDA, I think, if you look at it from the previous performance, but I think this is a much better spot for Flap now. He's clearly winning the lane, already taking that tier 1 up top, and the fact that he was also able to be active in the first few skirmishes and even pick up kills too, I think grants him a much bigger advantage to serve as a threat against Vitality, who at this point have mostly been responding and answering back to Falcons rotations, but we're not seeing any of their own just yet. Or maybe it's also, in a way, an effect of having very slow clearing mid-duos in the form of a Selena and Bada. Oh, but hold on. Oh! Kyle will file Nile! And Finn all alone! It's a double!
Oh! I hate the fact that Super Marco, he's laughing about it already, and now they create another attack on the bottom side, and they can't do anything about it.
Eman just had to flicker out of that and use the go away, but Flap now is unstoppable too. With the help of the other members of Falcons, these are just 2 really heavy damage dealing heroes you're looking at already. It's both Kyle and Flap, and let's just look at that replay and how flawlessly Kyle just flew around these 2 members of Team Vitality.
Dirty outplay, dodges the immobilize, waited the iframes out, even dodging the knockback, and you see that Kyle's just like, nah, just another day in the office, try harder next time. And Vitality, they will oblige here because they're starting to siege this turtle. They want to make sure they have control, but more importantly, they're waiting for Kyle. They know he's around.
Yep. He's gonna take this first. Abyssal arrows are not connecting just yet, but at least you also see Eman taking part in this fight. Nile will yet to have to reveal himself, because Falcons are taking pretty good control of this. Vitality will change targets though. They're just gonna go for Super Marco, but he still has the Purify! Moreno finally gets the kill, but he might just go down too. That's a 1-for-1 so far, and Falcons are chasing after Finn, but they might not be able to find him anymore.
It's not bad. Honestly, trading gold laner for mid laner, and considering that Moreno, really, he's not the one who wants to be able to absorb all this gold. It's Nile and alongside with Eman, so as long as these 2 are able to scale back up, it's great, but Finn might be in some trouble here. They don't want to contest this. This is not the position to fight for just yet, and Vitality understand that.
Yep, they kind of let go of this the moment that they went back after that kill towards Super Marco. He already also had to get his purple buff first, so Nile, I feel, is really doing a bit of catching up here in this game. He's already a level behind of Kyle here, and that's also probably one of the reasons why they just rather not contest an objective anymore, especially with Falcons just surrounding the area like that.
With the early game having to be played super defensively for the side of Vitality, it gives you very little opportunities to actually look for potential snowballs. And so far, I mean, Iman, he was doing a good job against Super Marco. Generally, both sides came out of the lane pretty even, but once all the reinforcements started headed down to that bottom side, it was inevitable that Super Marco was going to crack that bottom tier 1. from this point onwards, we're expecting that Falcons, they're going to get a little sly with it. They're starting to walk into enemy territory to steal away the resources, because dear God, Kyle, he's Batman at this point.
I would be afraid if I were Vitality and I was all alone, because I could just feel the presence of Kyle or maybe anyone from Falcons at this point just hunt me down with the amount of damage that they already have. And Vitality, I feel, is going to take a bit more time from them. Even if we say, let's say we say Emman part of the fights, he just lays down Doll, but other than that, you don't really sense much threat for Falcons, but now they're gonna catch Kyle. That is a kill that they definitely want.
Yep, that was the combo they were trying to pull off and got outplayed on that top side. This is the clean version of it, but they still don't get the conversion, unfortunately, on that turret, but they do slow down Kyle. Luckily, don't have to worry about the purple buff. It hasn't even spawned just yet, so Kyle doesn't lose too much in general.
Yeah, it is just gonna open up more opportunities for Vitality. You could see how they're trying to push their sides a bit more this time, but a concealed play from Falcons might just turn things around. They're trying to go for the kills! Look at how Haji sets that up beautifully, but the Wrath of Dryas doesn't allow Nile to escape, and they find one all over again. Abyssal Arrow onto Owen, though. Do they have enough burst damage to finish him off? They don't have it just yet.
No, they don't. Wow, that was an incredibly big mistake coming out from now, showing and in front of their faces, dashing. You can't reveal those cooldowns this early on. Only later in the game where it's not so bad, especially since Falcons are really out to get him.
Oh, Emman actually dealing a bit more damage now, but it's Falcons starting up this objective. They're bursting it down as much as they can. Abyssal Arrow does not land. Who gets the final hit on this objective? It's still gonna be Kyle, but Flap might get traded out here. Surprisingly, still survived. The Abyss of Strike cancelled out. Close call for Emman, but now he has to flicker out to re-engage or to regroup with Team Falcons, as Vitality might go for the chase, but they don't.
They didn't get the punish. They got the big cancels that they were looking for, but no conversions on either side. Even still, we know for a fact, hey, Falcons, Turtles, they're done for. Now we got to make sure that we can protect, because once we have to deal with this Iman,
Flap, so much damage, but he will go down relatively fast too. That's a less tankier XP lane that he currently is on, and I feel like Vitality will just constantly go for the punish every single time, every single opportunity they find.
I mean, they have to at this point, right? Can't give any options to their opponents. Super Marco now sure looking for anything across the map, and even for Kyle, he's just waiting, right? It's about a matter of information. Now should be okay here.
Another 1v1, but now you see Finn. Kyle will not fight him there anymore, as Vitality will still deal with the Lord for now and are forced to play defensive. They're about to lose more and more of their structures as well if they don't successfully get to defend this, but it's barely hanging on.
Honestly, this is great coming in for Vitality. Like, everything that could have gone wrong in the early stages of the game didn't necessarily hurt as bad. They walk away with some scrapes, okay. And Nile is still very, very bold. He hasn't backed down at all. And with the Malefic Roar on his side now, he can start thinking about hitting some of the bigger targets.
Yeah, we're waiting if Vitality could pull off the combo all over again. So I think a lot of this is on Finn, and whether or not he actually finds that setup all over again, because you could already expect the damage to come through, especially from Nile, especially from Moreno, and even Emman, but Falcons are just too difficult to catch.
Yeah.
They have so much mobility.
Zipper, if you could pull up the items for me, that'd be great, because I'm wondering where Shogun is in his item progression. He needs to get to a point where he's so tanky that he's able to kind of take first position on the far lane rather than letting Kyle hard shove it every single time, because Vitality have to be relatively close to each other to find these intersecting points in the mid lane in comparison to like Senden Herrera topside, and now that at least that Nile and Kyle are somewhat even in the lane, it's a much harder 1v1 to win out.
Yeah, we gotta check those items later on. But even if Vitality do group up, okay, there you go. He does have the Antikyras and the Radiant Armor already.
But no Oracle. So again, if 1v2, there's a good chance he still dies out here. Lightning Truncheon already purchased, so he deals with both arm. Oh, wait, hold on. This could be bad unless Owen wants to flicker in. I don't see this happening. Put that back here.
Oh, Kyle from the side though. That was close. Vitality really had to reposition themselves there, as Falcons just took the opportunity to get mid.
That was so beautiful. That was so beautiful. To the naked eye, it feels like nothing happened, but it was really Falcon positioning themselves and posturing, forcing the battle lines of Vitality. They don't want to expose their backs. They want the traditional front to back, but Kyle has so much of that pull. If Iman dies, this entire fight goes down the drain.
Yep. And now they take that mid turret just as the Lord spawns. So imagine the space that they could really play around with. Vitality seems very uncomfortable with just freely positioning themselves. They have no idea Haji's in this position either. And you mentioned something about Vitality grouping up and using it to an advantage, but they have to be careful of Haji. Haji's been stealing away that ultimate from the Badang, and that could be something to punish Vitality later on.
Wow, both of these guys, it's whoever shows up in the lane first, and Hirara shows, and guess what Falcons is going to do? Instantly take that space. If Vitality are forced to move backwards, they know for a fact they got to clean up these lanes, but Niall, he's not wasting any time. He sets up the slow push and now is running back to try and collapse upon this.
Oh, Emma tries to go for the poke, and with the go away, they don't actually find the kill. Now it's going to be a clapback from Finn. It's a shutdown onto Haji. Super Marco finds Shogun, though, and will surprisingly pick up a double. But Eman is still alive. Do they still have hope? Abyssal Arrow will land onto Owen, and they find another trade.
That's exactly what you want to see. It's all about Eman here. Wait, no.
Oh, Flap, you have to avoid. Oh! But Finn, the disruption. It could have been enough, but Kyle was just too quick to act. Eman tried to go for the chase on Super Marco. 1v1 Wind of Nature, and Finn finishes him off.
Yo, that was so sick. What timing on the Maestro must have. That's why he's the conductor. He doesn't miss a beat. What a well-timed arrow mid-air. And even Finn, he was looking at it. Look at this one more time, right? This big old fight happens. Everybody's going crazy with it. Ogwin, really the game changer with the Wrath of the Dryads. But later on into this fight, that intersection. Wait for it. Where's the arrow? He hits it, and then it all goes down.
And this 1-1-1 too.
So good. That was so crazy. Finn should be happy with that. Finn should be happy that redeems him for the early mistakes, but now it really just comes down to execution, and that's the truth of it, right? Falcons and Vitality both have a really good understanding of how both compositions need to kind of dance around each other. But that dancing gives more advantages to Falcon for the raw firepower, Vitality.
Oh, they find another arrow. It's going to be Flab. He's not as tanky, but Shogun's actually the one who falls down first. But with the Wrath of Dryad, and another setup from Finn! The iframes from Niall keep him safe too. It's only Vitality finding a 1-for-1.
Holy cow, this is only game number 1, and we are seeing that they are fighting tooth and nail. Owen should go down here.
He could not get away from that. But that's a response from Super Mario. Kyle with the go away will just shove him out. They couldn't go for the committed Haji. Nearly falling. Still has the ultimate from the Badang. But Vitality are going to play it safe.
They gotta breathe. They gotta breathe for just a moment. Kyle, he can still deal with these waves on the sides. It's just that main Lord force that they can't really deal with it. Super Marco will try his absolute best, but they're saying, you know what? We can't hold on to this. Let's give up this inhibitor. Yes, the long lane is not going to be in our favor, but we got Kyle to deal with that consistently.
Was that a chastise picked up by Kyle here? It's like he was forced to almost adjust his items just because of how good Emman's been positioning himself on the Melissa as well. Every single time he uses the go away, it's just so perfectly timed.
It's ridiculous, and I think this is super understandable, right? Why multiple people need to get the Chastised Pauldron. With the extended range, thanks to Muddles, sometimes you're not in that range to actually get the the attack speed reduction. At this point, you got to be able to hit the right targets at the right time, and as much as everybody needs to slow it down, it does eventually come to start biting you in the butt. I think that Eman has been playing perfectly so far, but I think this Chastised Pauldron from Kyle, he needs it just to go in, force to get away from Eman, heal back up, and return to the fight.
Yep, and that's something they can do. It's a Fanny, so you could just expect them to get in the fight fast. With Vitality, they've been holding this out really, really well. Finn gets to spot out a couple members from Falcons all over again. They're fighting for this purple buff. They don't want to hand it over to Kyle. But Owen, will he be the sacrifice? Another arrow from Moreno! He actually forces the Purify from Super Marco!
God, what are these angles? The Maestro finds it once more, building up to this big piece, but Falcons aren't completely out of this just yet. Man, what a turnaround. With such a good early game from the Falcons, Vitality have been playing some incredible defense, and now seeing them on the attack, it's a pretty difficult game for either side. A single mistake could predetermine who wins and who loses. We're already 18 minutes into this game. Ooh. The next Lord has spawned. Keep in mind, this Lord is vital. It's going to be walking around with some extra damage reduction.
Open goes for the concealed play because they spot Niall up top, but they're not able to get anything out of it. Niall's just going to really get away and now transition to the Lord. They might just go burst this down.
Yep, they're definitely going to burst this down. Let's see if the steal can happen. Here comes Kyle. He's thinking about it.
Okay, the go away is still available, but it's Niall who secures the retribution. Falcons want to go for the chase. The go away already burst out with another arrow landing on Kyle. Do they have what it takes?
You're joking.
They find the kill on Kyle. And another setup from Finn. Together with the damage from Emma, with the clap back with the blazing good from Super Marco. They actually get to trade out some kills. Emma still being alive though is not looking good for Falcons.
They're trying to go even further than this. Is Ogwin. He's eating the damage finally. But look at that top side. Iman is running straight for the base.
Super Marco's the only one left here, but he couldn't do anything about it. Alongside the Lord in a triple from Niall. Team Vitality take game number 1.
Nobody's sad after that match. Nobody is going to leave their seats. We've got to see game number 2.
Could be annoying for the Akai. You're going to be forced to use your dashes. The Vexana. Because of the Akai and the Barretts in front of you, and it does have a lot of disengage and protection for the Melissa.
Yeah, definitely a great answer. Overall, we've seen it picked once before. And even when before I was kind of questioning it, we saw how well it can do with the stiff arm, with the ability to get that Terrify. Something similar to the arrow, not as long stunning as the arrow, but something still similar, right? So if he can make some of those quick picks, drop down the Warrior in the nick of time, it could be detrimental to the way they want to play this game.
All right, that has been it for myself and Trex here at the studio. Will we see another game where both teams get to do what their lineup wants to do, or will one of them dominate? One to either advance right now or to still hold on and force a game number 3. Bring you over to our casters, Brigida and Gideon.
5 seconds.
Thanks so much. It's going to be a good day here today because we're all hoping that this is not going to be a one-sided battle. We need to see a repeat of game number 1 where both sides are basically turning this MOBA into a fighting game as we jump into game number 2. Team Falcons PH on the blue side, facing off against Team Vitality on the red side. And let's go through this composition because again, that Vexana last pick actually is pretty genius here. So good at like just peeling, not only peeling off, but becoming a legitimate threat to the front line. It's like Ogwin at a certain point will not be able to take that kind of damage from Moreno.
And it's like adding an additional front line to your lineup in general, which I feel would work out really well for them, but that's multiple pull yourself together.
So many. And now instant evade here.
Fork Lightning, stunning multiple members, but Kyle unfortunately had to be the first one to go down in this fight. A not so good start for Falcons, but they traded out with the Roamer, which I don't think makes it any better.
It does make it any... can somebody punish this? Yep, there we go. Haji goes down and Moreno survives as Ego challenges it. No problem. Full faith that the rest of the team... I mean, Moreno got the last pick. He was ready to give that kill over and trade his life for Niall. Like, he did not care at all. He has done his job, and he knows he's going to do it again and again and again.
Okay, that looked really good with Fork Lightning just catching multiple members too, though, but I guess you have to really pay attention to this being a Belleric and you just potentially being caught again. If Moreno went down here, I feel like that would somewhat equalize things a bit, but the fact that he didn't, I really feel like Vitality got the better out of that. But also, I feel like in terms of compositions, I also want to point out how at least with the Akai pick, they kind of forced out the Purify from Eman. So that might make things a bit better for Falcons too when it comes to the team fights later on.
And that was something that I was trying to figure out, right? I was talking to you telling like, man, how do we force this Ballista to actually take the Purify? I think Ogwin has got a pretty good answer to that. Falcons already have this first position, and I don't see it happening as bot side is getting attacked.
Yep, Super Marco looking like the target here. Doesn't have the ultimate yet, but he doesn't need it anyway and will survive. Just had to burn the flicker nonetheless, but at least he didn't have to go down with that attempt.
Yep, all he lost was his flicker. He still doesn't lose out too much. And even you can see Eman making sure he's doing his due diligence, throwing muddles into tri-brushes to open up that side of the map for him, just in case anything... Well, that was a Daytona's welcome.
Oh, on to Shogun, and with the help of Kyle, they actually pick up the kill. So this is a different approach to the combos that we saw from Vitality. it's a Barret's and a Fanny working together now.
But I do think it was interesting, right? They already knew that it was going to be Barret's playing into Shogun at this stage of the game, right? And I think the only way that Shogun actually has any chance in this lane is hitting and trading really well against Flap before he gets the stacks. Once he's gotten to that enraged Dino form and he can start doing the stomps in the middle of the wave, he will out-sustain Shogun until Shogun gets that enchanted talisman.
Yeah, he didn't have the Purify at that point too, right?
You're right,
So
yes.
there was just no way to really get out of it, and he had to accept his fate right there. Owen gets poked down a bit here, though. He still have a couple seconds before the next objective spawns, but Falcons have been just quietly increasing this lead that they have in their hands.
It's still a small lead. We saw how game one went, so until we start seeing like a 5K lead, something closer to like the 6K, then there should be, you know, a sigh of relief for all the Falcons fans out there. But for now, 2-2, a pretty even score, as Niall has been hopping around and stealing away camps here and there.
He actually got that gold crab, I feel, using the retribution forward though, but it's gonna come up again once the objective spawns anyway. But I feel like nonetheless Vitality will struggle to a certain extent when if they wanna contest, because it's an Akai still that you're dealing with. It's not an Akai jungle, but I think that makes it all the more difficult to deal with, because its primary objective, it's not split between having to secure the objective and having to zone out. It's just really zoning out.
Yeah, that was I'm gonna touch on it later, but for now, the fight.
There you go. It's the heavy spin pushing them away, and now Vitality are unable to contest for the objective. But the flicker in from Spin and the Falling Star from Shogun, the knockup as well from the Eternal Guard. Flap actually finds one, but that's a Purify used by Shogun, so he will be okay. Tempest of Blades come in from Niall. Kyle trying to look for his target to go away. He had to change target, and the Terrify from the Deathly Grasp. He couldn't just freely cable his way through the fight.
That's a 3-for-2 trade in favor of the Falcons here. And I think that Vitality, it was a pretty good idea. Overall, if they got Super Marco at the end there, it would have been 100% worth it. But just look at this Wombo combo, right? How do you deal with this? And this is why I think the Vexana is so good, because now it's not about priority targets. I do max % health damage. Build what you want. Hey, you know what? Build 3 Guardian Helms if you really want to.
Yeah. So far, Moreno again and Eman have been untouched in this game. And it's starting to become a problem, I feel, for Falcons, because you even saw how Flap was just so decisive in wanting to go for it. Hold on, Ogwen. It's not a good time to be.
Look, he's not lagging. Both sides are not lagging. They're playing a perfect ping here at EWC. Iman is baiting him to do it.
Oh, they're all going in for Haji! Couldn't survive that. Now it's going to be Kyle trying to look for a trade, but he will be unable to find Niall.
Oh.
Now it's Finn setting up with a Wrath of Dryad. And now they're in the jungle of Team Falcons.
Darn it, if only Niall had just a little bit more energy, he could have re-entered that fight to take Kyle out. But now, they've kind of used everything at this stage. They got their profit, they walk away. No point trying to greed out for more. And I think the Falcons this time, they need to kind of break the battle lines. I think instead of Flap having to target some of the other characters here, I think he might need to just jump on Moreno, but I want him to go for Iman at the same time. It's just a tough call.
You really have to think hard about who your target is going to be, because it's very single target, and Haji has just not been able to have the same free time as Moreno in this game, in the series at least.
Yeah.
Moreno has been too free. The way that they've been linking together with Finn has been such phenomenal performance from Vitality so far. But now let's see, because Falcons are setting up for this turtle.
Oh, interesting. Conceal to push Shogun out of position, allowing Vitality to reveal themselves first. The big issue is that Finn has that Flicker and Wrath of the Dryad, so, I mean, they've got good counter engage, so somehow Flap and Ogwen need to poke out their targets. I would argue that Haji needs to as well, but there's so many times where as soon as he shows up, that's an instant engagement from the side of Vitality.
Yep, at least Ogwen now somewhat finds his way back to the turtle pit, but Eman is feeling like a zoner right now. The way he just puts Muddles out there and deals a certain amount of damage towards the front lines, it's not just making things easy for Falcons, who just want to position themselves around this pit. Owen now below half HP. Flap doesn't land the Daytona's welcome. And the heavy spin flicker combo just to get away, but Owen might just be the first to fall here in this fight. It's a killing spree for Moreno. Kyle doesn't even have his purple buff yet. And Niall's not allowing him to take it freely. He still has a retribution, but he can't get close.
This is a scary game. Holy cow.
Holy
like not
cow.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, Flap could not stand that. What? Where could he go? There's not much mobility you can rely on as a Barret's either. It's just the Daytona's welcome charge, and that's about it.
This game is kind of ridiculous because it's really a game of chicken, right? It's whoever backs down from the fight first, and unfortunately for Falcons, for them to reposition, it's a lot harder in comparison to Vitality, who again are playing all for one and one for all with Iman here, who's doing a phenomenal job of keeping himself alive, and best yet, he's almost single-handedly getting Ogwin to use the heavy spin on him.
And when Kyle went for him, he didn't even feel the need to use the go away just yet. He's just that much ahead on this Melissa. Again, 0 deaths in this game. No one could target him. So you could just sense that he perfectly mastered the timings in which he is supposed to use the go away, and that's posing multiple problems from Falcons right now.
Yeah, and every single time you see Kyle trying to contest, trying to get a set. Wait, hold on.
Okay, Eman still has the Purify, not using it yet, just uses the go away, and it's gonna be enough to push Ogwin out. Kyle trying to go for the engage, but the Wrath of Dryad once again catching members. Eman's though alive again.
No.
Falcons are low, and Niall is here for the cleanup.
No.
Even under the turret, he's fine.
Kyle missed one cable, the most important cable from the destroyed structure of the turret. It just slipped right in between. I thought it was going to connect, but there was just too much noise in the middle of it to be accurate. Let's look at it one more time. Because again, Owen keeps him locked down, but as soon as the go away is done, Kyle instantly takes out one target, looks for the second, but that last cable didn't connect, so he couldn't get that last bit of burst, allowing Iman to reposition. How unfortunate.
It just got a bit too messy, I agree.
Oof.
It's so unfortunate. Now you feel the responsibility that Kyle has right now, because at that point, Eman was within reach.
It was. They were. And I think that right now, if they just need Super Marco to just live for a little bit longer.
No, oh, what? Okay, that was a warranted attempt from Falcons. They finally get the kill onto Eman. Finn now left alone, using the Wrath of Dryad, still surviving for just a bit longer. Niall, though, does he want to go in? Will he find a target? He will probably wait a bit more and just play it safe for now.
And I love the fact that Niall, they both understand each other's composition. So now, just existing, just putting himself in a position where he is visible to the Falcons will make them second guess. Hey, we don't want to greed this out too much. We already got what we were looking for.
Yeah.
Finn and Iman are down. We can take first position at this point. Now, the next problem is Moreno until Iman gets back to the pit.
Yeah, and that was unexpected. You wouldn't really expect Sir Super Marco and Haji to be the combo to take out Eman, but I guess the damage really is going to come from them now. It's Kyle securing the objective, but Niall goes in. Haji very low on HP. Eman is going to finish him off, and the backlines are being taken care of as Eman's just really throwing out these needles. Shogun being in the face of 3 members of Falcons, and now there's a Daytona's welcome coming in from Flap, but he will not survive this attempt.
Whoa!
God flying in! Go away, keeping Eman safe, but Falcons are going to settle with that.
Man, that was nasty. Shogun purposefully just standing right on top of Flap. As soon as he saw the Daytona's welcome, all he had to do was position himself just a little bit further to make sure people step away. But just look at this, right? Instantly, they find a big punish onto Haji, right? Niall had to quickly use that Bladed Tempest. If not, he was gonna get locked down into this wall. But look at it, Shogun. Instantly, he zones Super Marco and then walks back into the Daytona's welcome to get eaten, allowing Iman to get the free hits. Luckily, Kyle and Flap communicated. We can at least blow one of them up.
Yep. Now it's a Blade of Despair pickup for Niall, as well as Moreno gets a Blood Wings. Falcons are going to utilize this Lord to at least equalize and get a bit more map control, though.
Stolen.
Wow.
Nice. Nice. That's going to take away a little bit of influence coming in from Niall. He can't just do whatever he wants willy-nilly. He will have to go into a side lane and then recall rather than walk his butt back. But you know, considering everything and considering game number 1, Vitality have shown that they are great on the defense, right? They pulled the lead back onto their side, and now they're just handing it back over to Falcons until the next Lord's fight.
Yep, they have a lot of ways to deal with a player, honestly. It's a Vexana, it's a Melissa, and you just really can walk up front knowing that they have muddles, knowing that they have a potential Eternal Guard dropping down on you at any moment. So they will somehow still be able to deal with the Lord, and this is still a very small lead that you're seeing 12 minutes into the game. So I feel like even Falcons at this point would be very careful and would not really assume that they're in a complete advantage just yet.
I think, honestly, they recognize that they're actually at a disadvantage until Haji is able to close the distance onto Iman and one-shot him. I don't see this game going the way that they want to, because even for Super Marco, right, his damage is, yes, great, against structures, against heroes, sure, it's fine, but the big issue is that he's running Sky Piercer. He's the big finisher. He cannot keep up with the hard DPS that's being pumped out of Iman like an absolute sweatshop factory. He's getting kicks out for everybody.
Yeah, Emma right now, it's great that Falcons had found a way to deal with him, but it's only been that one instance up top. Other than that, let's see how they deal with it this time. That's the ultimate already coming out from Haji. Vitality are still gonna be okay though. Kyle trying to fly over the other members, but Moreno, did you see that? He was just like walking, avoiding the cables. Not even much reaction coming out of Moreno in that sequence.
Yeah, does Niall have his purple buff? Because I saw Haji throwing out his ultimate like, you know, his life depended on it. Luckily, Niall does actually have his purple buff, so good. At least we know that Haji, he's willing to throw his ult out. It's pretty short cooldown at this stage of the game, and I think this next Lord spawn, it's a make it or break it for either side. They're dead even in gold. Majority of the outer turrets have been destroyed. It is a very awkward parallel between the two.
I'm so not used to seeing this small of a lead already 30 minutes into this game. It's literally insignificant. It's so close between Team Falcons and Team Vitality right now. Both junglers on the opposite sides, but it's just going to be recall for now.
Now it's about, I think it's the macro, right?
Yep.
At this point, it's how do you get under and how do you figure out a good timing? And I think that both Vitality and Falcons, they're junglers, right? They're not showing themselves on the side lanes. And Vitality have at least a huge advantage when it comes down to poking them out. Because every single time, right? Ogren walks up, Iman instantly throws out muddles.
Yep.
Waits for the cooldown, rinse and repeat.
Watch out for Haji though. They gotta watch out for Haji. They gotta check where he is.
Oh, he doesn't know. They have no idea now. Wait, is Finn gonna double check it? He might.
Okay, they still don't know.
Oh.
Because I don't think it hit. I don't think the first still connected.
And it doesn't reveal the entire bushes until it connects onto somebody. You're absolutely right with that. But Niall finally gets the endless battle and his position. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Hey, Finn, you're walking straight into something. Okay, now they spot Haji. Eman is gonna be fully aware that Haji will be positioned at that spot, but it is going to be a quick reposition. Falcons are really trying to play around this glass cannon pick of potential for Haji.
Yeah, they're trying to like slowly slot him into that backline, and Colin as well as Niall. Oh, good stuff coming in from Niall, instantly revealing him, and now Vitality should have a little bit more confidence to start walking back up into that first position again, and maybe set up a slow push down on bot side.
Yeah, but it's Haji. It's Haji and Ogwen walking up top to support! Kyle, did they kill and take down Niall? Vitality might want to commit to this fight here in the Lord pit, though. It's a flicker from Flap, gets cancelled out real quick. The knock from the Eternal Guard and the heavy spin from Ogwen. Flap is going to be traded out. Ogwen looking like the next target, but Vitality have to play it safe. Kyle is within the area.
Ooh, nice movement coming on from Aman. Kyle was thinking for half a second, if he keeps running away, maybe I go for the chase. I saw the stun get thrown out. I saw the taunt get thrown out. And more importantly, wait a minute, the Wrath of the Dryads has come back off of cooldown, right? Finn has been holding it for the longest time. And even though they don't have their retribution for the next 7 seconds, they're trying to make sure that Falcons, hey, you're going to fight on our terms, on our turf.
Okay, they're starting this. Niall's going to be back. He's going to be back real quick. Open now, facing the damage, already below half HP. Haji already using the ultimate. Kyle showing up behind, but they're just going for the Lord! Kyle! He's shut down by Niall!
This game The conceal. Wait, Finn, he might flicker for this, but now underneath their own inhibitor, that conceal is going to keep them safe. The trades have been beautiful from both sides. What a tight game this is, and really just showing the extent of Melissa. She can sustain underneath the Lord, no problem. Throws out Muddles. She can not only kill the Lord, but also poke out Ogwyn at the same time.
And deal with Kyle. It's crazy to think how Eman is able to do this on a Melissa.
One man, 3 problems solved.
Now they're taking one base turret down bottom, and they still have the Lord marking the base. That's an immortality pickup for Finn. They're getting poked down. Oh, the Daytona's welcome not connecting. Flap now getting knocked up and taunted as well. He's already very, very low. But Nile, he gets caught. Eman just trying to deal with the base dirt for now, but they don't have any minions left. Another Eternal Guard and a wave coming in mid.
Yeah, but they have nothing to worry about as Ogwyn tries to pull them away, forcing out at least one flicker. Oh no, turn around!
A flicker from Finn to set the Wrath of Dryad in place. And it's only Kyle, Haji, and Ogwyn left to defend, but can they? They're approaching the base. They have minions left.
It's a
like flicker from Haji, but Eman, he's still alive!
And the defense is successful from Falcons. Haji, despite all the damage thrown into his face, manages to hold on. There's one more wave though. Kyle, he's gonna have to pull it somehow.
Eman got his HP back, but does Kyle finish off the kill? He had a bit of nature. He couldn't, and another Muddle set up. Haji finds Shogun, but the heavy spin to push the minions out. Can they do this time?
Come on, Iman! It takes out Immortality purchase with a Hot Claw. He's going to be able to sustain. Finally, this might be a Super Marco. Doesn't make it in time. And there you have it.